welcome, dear viewers, to Couch Warrior TV on YouTube. I'm the Couch Warrior, and this is the Unbound Workshop. This video series is the companion to the Character Crusade Unbound podcast, and in each episode, we explore Skyrim roleplay concepts and ideas through actual gameplay. Season 1 of the podcast is called Random Skyrim Roleplay, and our character concept is Raiden, the Ashaba Undead Slayer. Redguard. All right, so when we last left off, we had just raided this cavern, rooted out the bandits that were in there. Spent the night there. Took care of a few things. Looted the place. Did some cooking. Took care of some pelts that had in my inventory. Converted those to leather and then to strips and so forth. Stuff like that. Kind of your standard, more mundane stuff, but things we got to do. Shed some weight. Work on some levels. That kind of stuff. Now we are off to the Brood Cavern. It's Brood something. I can't remember the exact name, but I know where it is. And supposedly Gunmar is there. We are going to track down Gunmar and get him on board. Hopefully send him back to Fort Dawnguard so we can continue on and find Soreen, something like that. She's hiding herself somewhere in the Reach, so we'll have a ways to go to find her. So let's do it.
Looky here. We got ourselves a hero.
Not sure what's going on there. It's definitely not the sword I would have chosen to use. Look at that, I got 2 Dawnbreakers too. That's a weird thing, man. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. When I actually retrieved the sword, I fought the boss there. I defeated him, and you know there's a pedestal with a sword in it. But I also found another Dawnbreaker laying on the floor. I picked that one up first, then I grabbed the one in the pedestal, and I thought, maybe it's just a glitch. Maybe it's the same sword. You know, the pedestal is kind of just a model that includes what looks like the sword sticking out of it, but the sword on the ground is the actual one. No, it turned out to be 2 swords. So I've got 2 Dawnbreaker swords. Not sure what to make of that. Be pretty cool if I was dual wielder type, but I'm not. So all right. Kine. All right. Now, we're not a worshiper of Kine. We're actually a worshiper of Tuwaka, more closely aligned probably with Arcay. However, Raiden is a spiritual guy. He's got a healthy respect for the gods in all of their forms, and we have done quite a few things on behalf of the priestess of Kine. This guy looks like he needs help. Are you Gunmar?
You there! Hold fast!
There's a cave.
I've tracked this damned bear for 2 weeks. I'll not let it have any more victims.
All right. Isran needs your help.
Isran needing someone else's help. Never thought I'd do that. I'm afraid he's a few years too late. I've moved on. I have more important business to attend to. Besides, he can handle anything alone. He assured me so himself. What could he possibly need my help with?
We're up against vampires, sir.
Vampires? That's...
Yes.
Well, that might change things. Tell me more about what's going on.
All right, we're not sure, but they have an Elder Scroll, believe it or not.
Alright, look. I'll consider it. But I can't just leave this bear to prey on more innocent people. Once it's dealt with, then perhaps I'll see what Isran expects of me.
You mean the bear we just killed? Or another bear? Yes. Oh, come on, you big bastard. Oh. Took some knocks there. All right. Let's do it. This might get dicey. Okay, let's be smart about this. I'll use a potion here. As a rule, I hate using potions in desperation, like in the heat of battle. That's not how I prefer to do it.
Got the feeling there's trouble ahead.
You do, huh? What? Ah! Yeah, it's bad. I got flanked. Chaos. Oh, he's going to help this time? All right. Well, that's good. All right. And let's do some regeneration. That'll help kind of along the way, I reckon. And we'll use some of these minor healing.
Got the feeling there's trouble ahead.
We'll follow the huntsman. We'll let him lead. Whoa, 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 whoa. What the... This is ugly. Put a block on it. God, what a mess. Haha. All right. What a mess. Come on, fellas. Finish it. Wow. What a mess. Holy heck. Okay. Hey, are we done here or what?
Don't know how well I'd have managed by myself.
No, you would have been dead meat.
You've helped me, so I suppose the least I can do is find out what Isran wants. He's still at that fort near Stendar's beacon, I assume.
Yes.
Of course he did. He's been working on that place for years now. Never lets anyone in. His own little fortress. Well, I guess I'll get to see what he's been up to all this time. I'll meet you there.
Good enough. All right. Let's have a look around quick. This place seems secure now. I think what I'm going to do is there are so many opportunities right now to get pelts and ingredients and all kinds of stuff. We're going to take some time and skin a bunch of these animals. All right? So we'll get started on it, but I won't subject you to all that. We'll kind of fast forward through that stuff. Ranger bracers. Silver ingot I'll take. Weak magic poison. This poor bastard. Black arrow, I've read that. Take the salts. That could be good. All right. Well, I reckon we'll go ahead and get this done. So I'm going to be using Hunterborn here to skin all these animals, harvest ingredients, and then kind of go through whatever I've recovered. Getting all of this stuff will definitely leave me encumbered, so I'm probably going to transfer some of the materials over to Goldier here and have him carry those for us until we get to some place where we can work on our smithing skills. So I will see you here in a moment. All right, we're back. Well, we got it done. Got a whole lot of pelts and various ingredients off all of those animals. You may have noticed during the battle a very large and strange, scary-looking troll. That came specifically from a mod I'm using called Mage Backpack. In order to create the Mage Backpack, you have to harvest ingredients off that creature. So that's where that came from. Where is that beast? What? Why are they attacking me? Crazy. The spirits attacked me. That is interesting, though. That may be something we can use. All right, let's... some nourishment. All right, things are starting to get crazy. I mean, we've got so many creatures and spirits that are bound to Raiden at this point. He's constantly ejecting them. And having some of them actually attack you, I can only assume that during combat I hit that spirit and it reacted just as a living animal would, and it turned on me. It was no longer my ally. I can only imagine that that would have an effect on him as well. Is it possible that we're starting to see the erosion of this power? I don't know. Something to think about. I can imagine that that would be alarming to Raiden after all of this time. All right, so Fort Snowhawk we had cleared out previously. I believe it's been taken over by Imperial soldiers now, if I'm not mistaken. Raiden does not really have a stake in the war of any kind. He hasn't chosen a side, hasn't shown an interest in choosing a side, and there's been nothing that has happened to this point that has caused him to believe that he needs to. So that's probably a quest line that he will stay out of. I mean, the fact of the matter is that Unbound goes in seasons, and there are basically 8 episodes of Unbound in a season. And if we do the calculation, we're recording a podcast with a level cap every 2 weeks, which means 16 weeks to play this character. There's only so much a person can do in 16 weeks of gameplay. Now, right now, I'm working towards episode 4 and trying to hit the level caps for episode 4. The minimum I need to hit is level 24. And right now we're, I'd say, well, about halfway between level 21 and 22, something like that. So kind of a long way to go. And that also brings up the point of, you know, what is going to be the expected velocity of videos coming out here? I mean, how frequently are these videos going to be coming out? As I've said, I'm not trying to record every single moment of my gameplay. You can see that. I've been skipping certain parts. I've been kind of trying to, you know, move between kind of what I believe are going to be major points and keeping in travel time at times like this when I have things that we need to discuss. But even so, that means that, you know, these videos are going to be coming out at a pretty healthy clip. So I think you can expect that. I mean, I'm going to try to control the release schedule. So I may sit down and do a session, and that session would yield 3 videos, but I'm going to try to space out when I release them so that I'm not releasing more than one in a day. But the fact of the matter is that I've got a level cap that I need to hit, which means in order for me to hit that, you know, in the next week, there's going to be probably a couple more play sessions, all of which are going to yield several videos. So you can expect to see quite a few videos coming out, and I'm going to try to stick with the sort of 40-minute length if I can. I will try not to overwhelm anyone by just spacing them out a little bit. But it's important that you understand that this is basically me sort of live journaling what's going on with my character. And it's which means, you know, if I'm hosting this podcast and we're having a discussion of these level caps, I kind of need to have all of my journal entries published and out there for the public to peruse before we record the next podcast. So there are going to be times when I'll release videos because I need to get them out before we go into the studio and record the next episode of the Unbound podcast. So if that overwhelms anyone as far as the velocity goes, I apologize for that. There's nothing I can do about it. Do your best to keep up. Skip some of them if you want to skip some of them. It doesn't really matter. What I'm doing here is basically live journaling this content so I can keep track of what's going on, as opposed to, say, writing it up in a blog or something like that. So, more bears. Oh, he's got me. He's got me. Oh, he's got me good. We have got, at some point, to get to frickin' civilization and get serious, about working on the defenses. So we've got enough pelts as it is. Let's take a look at where we're at. Now, as you know, I have been banking. I've been banking some perks. We got, I think, 3 perks in the hopper unspent, right? Another training session in restoration is going to get me to the point where I can get hallowed burial. That's great. That's 1 perk right there. But that gives me 2 perks that I could spend right now, because the next level that I want to get to in restoration is going to take me up here to Warrior's Flame, and that's not until level 50. That's going to require a lot of training in order to get me there. So I'm thinking that we've got 2 perks that it would probably make sense to spend them now and consider doing something with them that might help on the defensive side of the game. Perhaps light armor or blocking. I'm not sure. So let's take a look here. We've got both levels of light armor mastery and then light armor fit. Armor rating of light armor increased by 25% if wearing all light armor, which we are. Look up here, initiative. When you enter combat, if wearing all light armor, regenerate up to 10% of your maximum stamina per second. This bonus gradually diminishes over the course of 15 seconds. Right, that's good. Unhindered, armor weighs nothing and doesn't slow you down. That is also good. Let's go back here to annoying mosquitoes. 10% less attack damage from enemies with full health if wearing all light armor. That seems like it could be a good investment as well. While sprinting in light armor, you cannot be staggered and take 50% less damage from power attacks. I don't know that that's a good fit. Just based on what we've been doing so far. All right, I think initiative is a good investment. So we'll take that. And we'll take 1 level in annoying mosquitoes. Okay. We're going to keep that other perk banked for now. We're very close to hitting level 22. I think all it would take is 1 good smithing session, working on all these pelts we've acquired to get us there. And then we'll be able to do some more restoration training. So I think we've got our course kind of mapped out for us here in the short term. All right, we need to go back this way. Now we're going to start kind of getting into the heart of the Reach here. Usually there's a bunch of wolves around here, but looks like they're cleaned out. All right, let's go up this way. At some point very soon, we need to camp and get some rest and all of that business. But I'd really like to find this Serene first. Let's head up this way. This is actually a trail. How nice. So I think with skinning all those animals and all that stuff, it yielded probably 10 or 12 pelts, all of which should be really great practice, provided we can get somewhere where there's a tanning rack. Now, I have crafted my own tanning rack, which I keep in my inventory. However, using that tanning rack doesn't help with smithing levels. So, really, the only time that I will use the portable tanning rack is if I need to reduce my weight and convert, some leather to leather strips or something like that to reduce weight. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, look at that. See, assassinated my own spirit, basically. Finish him off. There we got our level. The scavenger. I gotta say, I'm a little bit on the fence when it comes to this ritual stone power versus the vanilla version of it. Originally, when I came up with this character concept, I decided to do it based on what the vanilla ritual stone power provides, which is the ability to resurrect dead bodies in a radius. I thought, how cool would that be to be able to do that? And then I started investigating the Andromeda Standing Stone mod and thought, okay, I'll give this a shot and see how I like it. But there are times when I really like the effect of these spirits, and then there are other times when I just want them to go away. And
I'll paint the snow with your blood.
what the heck? See, like right now, what the hell is going on? You know, like I just. So, you know, I guess, you know, one of the things I've been thinking about is
Smell that fresh air? Truly, this is a
whether I want to change things up and what that means to the role play as well. And so, in one of the recent episodes, we talked about this concept about, you know, how giving your character a power. Damn. How taking away a power can be nearly as compelling as giving your character a power. And I am becoming like, I'm more of the opinion that this particular standing stone power is one that I need to take away. And I'm thinking that for gameplay purposes, but I don't want to just yank it out. I don't want to just change it. I want to change it because something significant in the game is driving me that way, right? So I want it to matter from a story perspective. So those are some of the things that are on my mind now as I'm traveling around thinking about that prospect, right? Are you serene?
You haven't seen a sack full of dwarven gyros lying around, have you? I'd swear I left
No.
it right here. Do you think mud crabs might have taken it? I saw one the other day. Wouldn't be surprised if it followed me here.
What?
Well, just look around, will you?
All right. Isran asked me to find
What's
you.
wrong? Wants me?
Yeah.
No, you must be mistaken. He made it exceedingly clear the last time we spoke that he had no interest in my help. I find it hard to believe he's changed his mind. He said some very hurtful things to me before I left. Anyway, I'm quite happy in my current pursuits. So if you'll excuse me...
Your current pursuits seem odd at best. All right. Vampires are threatening all of Skyrim. We need your help.
Vampires. Really? Oh, and I suppose now he remembers that I proposed no less than 3 different scenarios that involved vampires overrunning the population. Well, what are they up to?
Holy hell. See, and I could do without that as well. They have an Elder Scroll.
Well, that's actually something I never would have anticipated. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what they would do with one, but in this case, Isran is probably correct in thinking it isn't good. All right. If nothing else, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to learn more about what's going on so I can better defend myself. But I'm not just going to abandon what I've been working on here. It's too useful. I need at least one intact dwarven gyro. So either I need to find the satchel those mud crabs stole, or I need another gyro from someplace. You wouldn't happen to have one, would you?
No. I don't have any gyros.
Well, then I'm very sorry, but I can't just walk away from this project yet.
All right.
good day.
Let's see if we can find these gyros. Mud crabs? Stealing your backpack? That sounds insane. All right, we'll give her all of her stinking gyros. There we go.
Just one gyro. One, and I understand that, but I really can't leave here without at least one usable piece of dwarven equipment. A single gyro would be enough, I think. Believe me, this is useful stuff.
Sure. All right. Here. I've got a euro, but I have no tzatziki sauce.
Thank you.
You're on your own.
It's not much, but this will help a great deal with some things I've been researching.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where is it Isran expects me to go?
Fort Dawnguard.
Oh, been working more on his secret hideout, has he? It'll be interesting to see how much progress he's made. I'll finish up here and head in that direction as soon as I can. See you there.
All right. Fine. Uh-huh. It's not a very secret hideout, by the way. Well, we have accomplished our mission for Isran, which means we have to head back now, too, and report back to him. And I think we will start on the road to do that very thing after this word from our sponsors. Inspired by the long tradition of Nord brewing, Draugar Lager brings to you the authentic wallop of days gone by. Draugar Lager is crafted for real warriors and is not intended for gormless, honey-drinking arsemongers. Bring back the bold, musty flavors of the Merethic era with any of our line of ancient Nordic lagers. Made with only the finest and really super extremely old ingredients, Draugar Lager will satisfy even the dustiest of palates. Draugar Lager, the great taste of the undead, with no bitter afterlife.
Undead,
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are very shortly going to be on the road to talk with Isran, but before we do that, on the way back, we are going to make a stop and take care of some crafting. I think it's time for us to work on the defensive a little bit. And then on the way back, we are going to also stop off in Whiterun and see if we can afford 5 more levels of restoration training. Now, eventually, we'll have a trainer at Fort Dawnguard for restoration as well, but we're not quite there yet. There is another NPC that we need to find and gather up in order for that to happen, but we haven't been assigned that task quite yet. So, until then, we have to content ourselves with getting what training we can each time we pass through Whiterun. Fortunately...
There's a cave. Animals or bandits inside, no doubt.
Right. Now this place, there is something nasty going on in there. So we're going to roll for Dark Intent, see if he senses anything. Once again, that is a 10% chance, and he did. Rolled an 8. Which means we're going to check it out. Let's do it. Okay, we're going to take our level up. Invest in health. Now, I'm done investing in Magicka for now. I'm going to focus on health pretty much exclusively for a few levels. know something's going on in here.
Thought I heard something. That was a close one.
What's going on?
I don't know, but this place is full of them. Everyone I've encountered has been enchanted or the like. Look, I'm getting out of here. Normally spiders make my skin crawl, but magic spiders?
Yeah, I would agree. Let's go have a look. Oh yeah, I remember this place now. It's got all kinds of wacky doors and stuff in it. Gates and whatnot. Alright, let's look. Is there something unusual about these spiders? Alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, it looked normal at first. Doesn't look normal now, does it? Oh, yeah, I remember the nightmare of this gate. All right, well, let's investigate. Let's do every other first. Okay, that was absolutely not helpful at all. Okay, let's try this one. Ha! Nice! Well, that was relatively painless. I seem to remember in the past sitting at that stupid gate for like 10 minutes trying to figure out how to get in there. So, I think, you know, as I'm exploring this character and what he would do and how he views the world and all of these things, I'm constantly thinking about how he's reacting to the world around him and how he's interpreting things, right? And one of the things I'm thinking about is, you know, just how he feels about Isran. Now, obviously, we don't know the man well enough yet. Go. I don't feel like we know the man well enough to have formed an opinion about him beyond sort of first impressions, right? Damn. I think one of the first things that Raiden is going to be observing is, see, what we don't know about Isran is we don't know how long Isran has been separated from his culture, right? I mean, for all we know, Isran may have lived in Skyrim most of his life, all of his life. We don't really know. And just because he is of Redguard descent doesn't mean that they have any sort of real connection, culturally speaking. Because when you think about it, Raiden is definitely kind of the stranger in the strange land. I mean, he has been raised as a traditional tribal Redguard. So for him, meeting a Redguard who is his elder, who is using anything other than a sword, seems completely foreign to him. Like, why? Why would you do that? Is he not truly a Redguard sword singer? Has he not been trained in that way? Has he been brought up in Skyrim? What is Isran's background that he's not using a sword? And you know, yes, it's like really kind of a it's a question that Raiden is asking that feeds on the stereotype of perhaps what a Redguard should be. But it seems like the sort of question that he would ask naturally, just because he knows nothing else. I mean, to him, red guards and swordsmanship go hand in glove, you know? That kind of thing. That's the frame of mind he's coming from. And like it or not, subconsciously, it probably impacts whether or not he completely trusts Isran.
Let's see if this works. Perhaps some more glow dust in the next batch of potions. That should increase their resistance. Huh?
Good God, I've got an army of spiders. Flank him.
How did you get this far?
Stay on him. Nope. All right, let's try again.
This works. Perhaps some more glow dust in the next batch of potions. That should increase their resistance. Huh?
All right, we're going to flank him. I'm going to flank him.
Is someone there? What? How did you get this far?
Come on, Goldier, engage so I can flank. Oh, all right, dude. Well. Oh, no. There we go. So part of the fighting style is like trying to always remain cognizant of what perks we've taken and when we actually have a maneuver that we can take advantage of. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you have to periodically just go back and check and say, okay, like. So we've got perks that give us some bonuses on normal attacks after things like, you know, standing power attacks and all this kind of stuff. You got to sort of keep track of where those bonuses come into play. I'm not always real great at that in the heat of the moment sometimes. So every once in a while it's helpful to just go back into the skill menu and review what you've selected. At least that's what I have to do, just to make sure I'm recalling, you know, all of those different options I've chosen and taking advantage of that. All right. Well, all right, let's take the books. Oh, book collecting. Nothing. This guy is into his spiders big time. So, interestingly enough, when I died, I had to come back through what I had already done from the front door. And the second time through the intro part where you encounter that adventurer, for some reason, Goldier decided to pick a fight with that adventurer for no reason that I could tell. The guy wasn't aggressive. He didn't attack Goldier. Goldier didn't do anything, as far as I could tell, that would have drawn aggression from the guy. But they just got into a fight, and I just stood back and watched, and Goldier killed him. Not entirely sure why. Now, something like that would have been kind of a a golden roleplay opportunity. But because at the time I was taking a mulligan for a previous death, I chose not to use that piece of content because the first time through that area, Goldir did not attack or kill the guy, as far as I know. So I chose not to use it. But it's one of those things, right, where, if you're looking for an opportunity, having a follower do something unexpectedly can have a really interesting impact on your story, on the story you're telling in your head, right? I think if that had happened the first time through, I definitely would have used it. But because I was kind of taking a mulligan, having died fighting this mage the first time, I decided not to use it. But those are the kinds of things I'm looking for usually. Interesting things like that happen that can kind of steer the story along, potentially create conflict between the protagonist and a follower, stuff like that. Cause a rift that we can exploit to add color to our story. Always looking for stuff like that. All right, so does this get us back to the beginning then? Yes, it does. Prepare for adventure. Fortify carry weight. We'll take those. All right, so back this way, I believe. Yeah. And here's our dead adventurer. Goldir just took him out. I can't figure it out. I'm not sure what beef they had, but I mean, this guy was sort of peacefully on his way out the front door when Goldir went after him. So difficult to say what caused all of that. Who knows? All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Unbound Workshop. Thanks for checking it out. If you'd like to get involved, play along with us, check out the unbound.charactercrusade.com website for all the current play rules. You can join the discussion with other players by joining our Discord community at discord.charactercrusade.com. You can find Character Crusade Unbound podcast on iTunes and YouTube. Everything is linked off of our webpage at charactercrusade.com. You'll find all the links you need there. So, and remember also that we stream every other Monday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. If you're interested in checking it out, you can check out the live stream of our podcast. You can pose your questions and your role-play quandaries to the podcast as well, and we will answer them on air if you submit them to the form. So, with that, thank you all for watching this episode, and I will see you next time.